Mystery of Area 51 has finally been unveiled.
At number 10 is the propulsion system. It's been quite the astonishing turn of events when you consider Bob Lazar's claims about UFOs in Area 51. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with the story, Bob Lazar came forward with some rather extraordinary assertions back in the late 1980s, claiming that he worked at a secret facility near Area 51 called S4, where he was said to reverse engineer extraterrestrial spacecraft. And one of his most intriguing claims was about the way these saucers operated. Fast forward to today, and we've got this remarkable video footage from Commander David Fravor released by the Pentagon, showcasing a UFO doing exactly what Bob Lazar described decades ago, rotating at high speed with sharp angular turns, flying belly first. According to Bob Lazar, that's thanks to the gravity amplifiers along the underside of the ship that Bob had described centuries ago, as opposed to the classic rendition of a saucer flying parallel to the ground as we'd see in sci-fi. While Bob and the gimbal video both showed us that while it does have the capacity to fly like a frisbee, it can conjure what's essentially a powerful gravity vortex underneath the craft to pull it at extremely high velocity. Like, if you were inside one of these bad boys at speed, it would feel like you're falling downwards, nearing Mach something. It's one of those moments that makes you question just how much we might not know about the universe and what's happening in the shadows of government secrecy. The convergence of Lazar's claims and the actual evidence is undeniably mind-boggling. If you're enjoying this video so far, you can support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to the most amazing, and ringing that notification bell. At number 9 is Element 115. The revelations about Element 115, which Lazar insisted was the key to alien propulsion technology, eventually found their place in the scientific lexicon. See, back in the late 1980s, Lazar made waves by asserting that Element 115, or what he called unpentium, was the fuel source for extraterrestrial UFOs he alleged to have worked on at Area 51. Skeptics scoffed as Element 115 wasn't officially recognized at this time. Fast forward to today, and we've synthesized Element 115, now known as moscovium, in a lab setting. But here's the twist. Our most stable isotopes of moscovium have a fleeting existence lasting mere milliseconds. Yet Lazar continues to claim the existence of a stable isotope that powers these otherworldly craft. It's a tantalizing mystery that leaves us pondering the potential secrets lurking within the cosmos and deep within the confines of Area 51. At number 8 is the FBI raid. Back in 1989, during a live interview with George Knapp, Lazar made headlines by disclosing his work at the mysterious Area 51 Section S4, reverse engineering these extraterrestrial craft. He even claimed to have stolen a piece of Element 115, which purportedly powered these spaceships. Now fast forward to 2019, when United Nuclear Scientific, Lazar's scientific supply company, was raided by the FBI. Conspiracy theorists believe that the feds sought his supposed Element 115 samples. Now there are some government-released documents that paint a different picture, but can we trust those? The raid, as it seems, was tied to a unaliving investigation involving thallium poisoning, a substance Lazar's company had sold. The FBI's alleged involvement dated back to early 2016, well before his documentary was being filmed. However, Lazar and the filmmaker Jerry McCorbell contend that the raid was a cover-up story to mask the real intent, which they insist was Element 115. You see, Lazar was cooperating with law enforcement, providing documents and information on thallium sales, leading to search warrants being unexecuted. But just after they filmed this segment where he discussed his possession of 115 for the movie, they enacted a full search warrant on his house and job site. Coincidence? I think not.
At number 7, we have the M21 and D21 tag board. Originally known as the Q12, this craft was originally intended to be expendable. The name was later changed to D21 tag board because it was carried on the back of the A12 launch vehicle designated at M21. M stood for mother and D stood for daughter. Then the project was given the name tag board. The D21A was built with titanium and various radar absorbing plastic composites and looked like a stovepipe with a cone in its inlet. The D21 could fly up to speeds of 1,700 miles per hour at an altitude of 95,000 feet. It also had a 3,450 mile range before it needed to refuel. That's pretty impressive. The M21 was a two-seat version of the A12, but unfortunately these tag team drone planes had a bit of an accident. During a flight on July 30th, 1966, a D21 collided with an M21 on release, destroying both crafts. Both crewmen were able to be ejected in time, falling to the sea, but one of them tragically drowned after his pressure suit leaked. The D21 drone was then later replaced by the KH-11 keyhole reconnaissance satellite. At number 6, we have everyone's favorite new toy, drones. drones. Okay, I don't actually mean the US Air Force is testing all those tiny little remote controlled toys that we all buy online, but it is believed that the new hangar being built in the same place where the A-12 Oxcart was tested is actually home to a fleet of new unmanned drones that are just waiting to be taken for a test fly. Test drive? You know, it doesn't matter, you get the point. A quartet of modern hangars divided into two separate buildings measuring 90 feet wide are known to be the hangars number 20 to 23 and have been seen going through some pretty major upgrades. Upgrades for what? Probably these drones. These drones are known more professionally as unmanned combat air vehicles, UCAVs for short. Many theorize that the extension and building of this new hangar in the southern ramp area of the base will house large numbers of these craft, keeping them secret and covered up from overhead spies, inclement weather, and of course our friends above us, the aliens. Coming in at our halfway point at number 5, we have trespassing humans. This one should be an obvious one, because I'm sure we all remember the Storm Area 51, they can't stop all of us raid back in September of 2019, which definitely didn't go as planned. This was a Facebook event that over 2 million people responded to going, as well as 1.5 million responded with interested. Obviously, because of all the alien rumors, myths, and legends, just about every single day tourists can be seen trying to get as close as they possibly can to the top secret base. Although the closest people can get is to the gates, which are still miles away from the actual base. Clearly, at least 2 million people thought that if they all band together, then they could storm past the gate, run a few miles, and reach the ultimate destination of Area 51. Emphasis on thought, because on the actual day of the event, only about 150 people showed up and none of them got in. Shocker. I remember the day I came across this event and I laughed my butt off because this was before it made international headlines and I thought it was pretty cool, and I think I even actually responded as going because I thought it was just so freaking funny. But anyway, I never had any real intentions of going because of our number 4 spot. That's right, coming in at number 4 we have camo dudes. All over and around Area 51 you can see camo dudes guarding the gates, viewpoints, and other mildly unprotected entrance and vantage points. These scary and intimidating camo dudes ride around in pure white Jeeps, making their presence known to any and all who dare to get close to the top secret base. At the 2 entrances of Area 51, huge and important signs can be seen stating that there is absolutely no trespassing, and if you have the inkling to do so, let it be known that these camo dudes have clearance to use lethal force. That's right, they will shoot at you, and what's the point in finding the answer to are we alone in the universe if you die immediately right after? Or even dying without getting the answer, that's even worse. These camo dudes have also been known to have the ability to listen in on whoever is near the gates, and when tourists ask themselves, hey, I wonder if they will wave to us, they immediately give back a nice little wave confirming that you are being watched and listened to. So, tread carefully. Starting us off in our top 3 spot at number 3, we have UFOs. That's right, no duh. Due to all the top secret flight testing that they do in and around the top secret base, many have found secret little vantage points to camp out and see if they spy anything. With some luck, many have reported seeing UFOs and strange lights above the airbase at night, and many don't believe them to be human technology. Not only have there been reports of strange lights and UFOs above the base, but even in the state of Nevada, there have been countless eyewitnesses to strange things and objects in the sky. I mean, that only makes sense, as Nevada is home to the extraterrestrial highway, which of course was created due to all the alien lore surrounding the area. But many bars, restaurants, cafes, gift shops, all of those things all go along with the theme and also believe for themselves that aliens are indeed real and are indeed here. At number 2, we have spacecrafts. Actual alien spacecrafts. Oh my god! Back in 1942 in Roswell, New Mexico, a devastating crash apparently took place on the night of July 8th. The Roswell Army Airfield reported that they recovered a flying disc from the scene, only to retract their statements soon after, reporting that it was actually just a crashed weather balloon. Yeah, right. Since this incident, many have gone on record saying that the famous picture of Jesse A. Marcel posing with the weather balloon debris was indeed faked. That was what they were asked to report on after the top secret government officials confiscated the actual crash debris and were never seen of again. It is now popular belief that not only was the craft confiscated and brought into a top secret high government hands, there was also 3 human-shaped bodies. Notice the wording. Human-shaped, but not human. Due to all of its top secret mythos, many believe that once Area 51 was built in 1955, that's where all of the evidence from Roswell, New Mexico now rested. Of course, there's no way to prove it unless we get in there, and by the way, I also recently learned that there are even secrets and truths kept from the freaking president. So don't count on getting close to any of that info anytime soon. But wait, back up. Dewey, did you say 3 human-shaped bodies were recovered? Does that mean... Yup. Finally coming in at our number 1 spot, and the most shocking and obvious thing on our list, is actual aliens! Back in 1995, footage of an alien autopsy supposedly at Area 51 was released thanks to London-based video entrepreneur Ray Santilli. This footage caused an international sensation and was shown on television networks all over the world. Santilli later in 2006 admitted that the film was a reconstruction, which, no duh. But do we really think the government and the Men in Black would really let the news channels all around the world show an alien autopsy? I don't think so. But that being said, Santilli said the footage was reconstructed, as in that there is actual footage of this autopsy, and whoever created this widely released tape was actually recreating an event that actually happened. To the best of my knowledge, there is no hard proof that this footage exists out there, but it wouldn't matter anyway, because most of it is supposedly lost. All I know is that 3 human-shaped bodies were recovered from Roswell, and that can mean a lot of things. Whether they're at Area 51 or not, I think they're here.
So we're gonna start off with Storm Area 51 and the man who went missing during this storm. Not sure what to call this situation. Wasn't really an attack. I guess like a bombardment. Anyway, I remember being pretty entertained that a group of weirdos decided to band together to do this. Some were doing it ironically, some fully believed they were going to make history, and I'm willing to bet some people had no idea why they were there. Not a lot ended up happening though. This is a heavily guarded, top secret military base, so I think you'd be crazy to think they would have gotten very far. Though a few arrests were made, including a 60-year-old woman, but one man actually went missing. The man's name has never been released to the public, but he had last been seen near the entrance of Area 51. He didn't go missing for long though. He was found and faced a trespassing fine. A little anticlimactic, but unless it wasn't really him. And they simply replaced him with an identical clone. Oh yeah. We found Zach. He has to pay a little fine. Just make sure he doesn't do this again, alright? Meanwhile, the real Zach is trapped in a pod somewhere being experimented on in Area 51. You never know. Number 9, Kenny Veach. Kenny Veach, an experienced hiker and explorer, disappeared in 2014 while looking for a strange cave in the Nevada desert. He had posted a YouTube comment stating that he had come across a strange cave shaped like an M near Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51 that had caused his body to start vibrating. He was encouraged by some commenters to search for the cave again and to capture it on film, which he did, posting a video to his YouTube channel, Snakebite McGee, entitled M Cave Hike. A couple months later, he ventured out for a 3rd time to the cave and sadly was never seen again. His cell phone was found at the entrance of an old mine shaft, but his body has never been found. Now, he very well could have got lost or had some sort of accident, but given how close the cave is to Area 51 and the claims Kenny made about the strange vibrations he felt around it, rumors and theories of course began spreading online that he may have stumbled upon something important, possibly related to extraterrestrials or government secrets, and that his quest was intentionally thwarted. Despite extensive searches, no concrete evidence or leads have been found regarding his whereabouts. Next on the list we have Jerry Freeman. Now, although this guy didn't go missing, he did trek quite close to the forbidden military base, and according to him, he was actually within the restricted area. Although the exact borders of Area 51 are sometimes a bit unclear. Jerry Freeman, an archaeologist, decided in 1997 that he was going to embark on this 7-day trek into the highly restricted Nevada test site. He wasn't going because he wanted to try and learn the secrets of Area 51. He was actually going in order to trace the trail of the lost 49ers, a group of pioneers who had traversed the area in 1849, many of which ended up losing their lives. He was in search of an inscription made by one of the pioneers, which was believed to be in NYE Canyon on the Nellis Air Force Base, which is of course completely off limits. Freeman had quite the adventure. He spent his time avoiding security, sleeping with nothing but a blanket and the clothes on his back. He traveled very light, and by the end of his trek, he almost completely ran out of water. He never found what he was looking for, but he did claim to have seen Area 51. Freeman had climbed a ridge above the canyon looking down on Papu's Dry Lake, which is just south of Area 51. He claimed that during the day he didn't really see much, but that night had seen lights, one of which looked like it was coming from a security vehicle perhaps, and one which was stationary but seemed to grow and shrink in size, which could have been a hangar door opening and closing in the distance.
At number 7, bone density scanners. In a twist worthy of an X-Files episode, Bob Lazar's Area 51 claims seem to have gained some more unexpected validation. Lazar is a man whose assertions about reverse engineering the extraterrestrial spacecraft at the secretive facility have long raised eyebrows, but he's finally found support in the form of a revealing photograph. Thanks to filmmaker Jeremy Corbell's tenacity, Lazar's narrative has been bolstered with tangible evidence. The photograph hails from a classified US government program conducted at Nellis Air Force Range, located in close proximity to Area 51. What's remarkable here is how closely the depicted hand scanner aligns with Lazar's detailed descriptions. Lazar, taken aback by the confirmation, reflected, quote, "I had never thought I would see these again," end quote. It was a biometric scanner, he explained, designed to measure the length of hand bones to grant access to the secretive S4 area. Lazar skeptics now may need to rethink their positions as this unexpected piece of evidence casts a shadow of credibility over his extraordinary claims. At number 6, the UFO models. Bob Lazar's claims about Area 51 have continued to intrigue and mystify us over the years. His descriptions of inside of the UFO are particularly fascinating. He paints a picture of a spacecraft that defies our understanding of engineering. See, the absence of right angles and the fusion of materials hinted an otherworldly origin. What's striking is how his analogy to describe the material which is composed evolved with time, from his initial description as liquid titanium with everything fused together lacking rivets or seams, to a more contemporary comparison to 3D printing, the entire body being composed of one unit. It's like picture a metal 3D printed bus versus an actual bus on the TTC rattling as it rolls because the thing is barely held together with screws. It raises the intriguing questions about advanced technology behind these craft and whether they indeed come from a civilization far beyond our own. Furthermore, Lazar's revelation that each of the 9 UFO at Area 51 had distinct designs is mind-boggling. They ranged from a jello mold-like structure to a completely flat disc, with diversity hinting at a level of technological sophistication beyond anything we can comprehend. And lastly, the notion that at least one of these UFOs may have ties to an archaeological dig amplifies an even deeper mystery. Could these craft have ancient origins, possibly predating recorded history? At number 5 is Zeta Reticuli. Bob Lazar's claims about Area 51 have fascinated UFO enthusiasts for years. One of his most intriguing assertions was that the flying saucer he worked on came from the Zeta Reticuli star system, specifically ZR3. This revelation is not just another conspiracy theory, with roots in UFO lore dating back to the 1960s. See, the Zeta Reticuli connection echoes through the story of Barney and Betty Hill, who famously claimed they were abducted by aliens in '61. During Betty's hypnosis after the event, she drew a star map depicting their alleged abductor's home. Astronomers analyzed this map for years and argued that it resembled the Zeta Reticuli star system. At number 4, Bob's predecessor. Lazar claimed that he replaced a colleague whose existence met a gruesome end during an incident shrouded in mystery. The circumstances surrounding the substitution remain murky, enveloped in a fog of classified information. Lazar hints at a desperate endeavor of science, an attempt to dissect an alien saucer's reactor while it was running, leading to a tragic fatality. The mere notion of using a plasma cutter on an active alien power source seems recklessly unscientific, inviting speculation about the nature of technology hidden within S4. At number 3, the military made him disappear. One of the most intriguing aspects of Bob's story is the mysterious absence of records supporting his educational and professional background. The absence of proof that he attended MIT or Caltech, coupled with his lack of employment records at Los Alamos National Lab, adds another layer to the enigma surrounding his story. The documentary suggests that these missing records might be a part of a deliberate government effort to discredit Lazar. By erasing his educational and employment history, authorities could cast doubt on his credibility, making it easier to dismiss his astonishing revelations about reverse-engineered extraterrestrial technology at Area 51. They somehow even managed to scrub any mention of his alleged thesis on magnetohydrodynamics. While the missing birth certificate may seem like another element of this conspiracy, it's essential to scrutinize the available evidence and weigh it against Lazar's claims and arrive at a balanced perspective on this perplexing Area 51 mystery. At number 2, the Tic Tac. Remember the Tic Tac encounter back in 2004? Black Aces commander Dave Fravor thought it couldn't be any type of earthly origin, hinting at anti-gravity technology. Interestingly, when Lazar saw the footage, it matched his description of one of the 9 craft in the hangar at S4. Former Pentagon intelligence officer Lou Ezinaldo revealed the military secret study aimed to decipher the physics of these UFOs, suggesting that they rely on exotic metamaterials, echoing Lazar's claims. So what was once ridiculed as conspiracy is now a tantalizing mystery that even the Pentagon can't ignore. We're living in a world where truth is stranger than fiction. And at number 1, how did they even get here? If manipulating gravity with negative matter wasn't wacko enough, according to Bob, who allegedly got all evidence of his degrees scrubbed by the government, he delved into the idea of manipulating the permittivity and permeability of free space to tinker with the speed of light. Yeah, this might sound like science fiction, but it's not. See, recent developments in metamaterials and photonic engineering have shown that we can indeed manipulate these properties at certain frequencies. This revelation potentially opens doors to rethinking our understanding of relativity. Lazar's notion that relativity could emerge from the depths of quantum mechanics is a concept that tickles the mind of physicists. Could light itself be the architect of space-time bridges between distant points in the universe? It's a tantalizing thought. And while we're not zipping across the cosmos yet, Lazar's claims are no longer brushed aside as pure fantasy, leaving us to ponder the mysteries of what we thought possible. As we navigate the mysterious world of conspiracy theories and government secrecy, it's essential to approach such claims with a discerning eye and open mind. While elements of Bob's story have been validated, others remain shrouded in mystery, reminding us that the quest for truth is a complex and ongoing journey.
Starting off this countdown, we have the secret entrances. Just last year, a man claimed to have found 3 hidden entrances that lead to Area 51. He discovered this after using Google Earth. He compared images of the base from different time periods. In one particular area in 1998, there seems to be no roads or entrance. Satellite pictures of that same location in 2005, 2010, and 2013 show a road and a dead end with what looks like an entrance and tunnel carved into a mountain. In fact, at the dead end, there appears to be cars parked there. Seems unusual for people to just park there, because what is around for them to do? Wander the barren plain alone? No, they're parking their cars there and then entering Area 51 through this secret entrance. In our 9th spot, we have the alien craft. What I'm about to show you is a leaked video and some photos from Area 51 of an alien spacecraft test. The video features a flying object hovering in the sky and moving in ways that other crafts definitely don't do. This was recorded on May 15, 2017, and then was leaked years later. If this isn't actually a UFO, then what could it be? That's what's baffling people. The way it just moves up and down and side to side that quickly is very strange, especially because of its size. What do you think though? Is this proof that Area 51 has gotten their hands on an alien spacecraft? Moving on to number 8, we have the transportation of a UFO. When this next photo was leaked online, it was met with a number of conspiracy theories. So this is the image of the CIA transporting a large part for one of their top secret projects. In fact, when this was getting transported, the CIA sealed off the entire highway. And I'm sure you can see why this was met with a number of conspiracy theories. Like, look at the shape of the thing that they're transporting. That is definitely a UFO or part of a UFO spaceship. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. Somehow, a group of bikers made it onto the road. When they were stopped by some soldiers, they asked what they were transporting, and the soldiers said they found a UFO up in the mountains. Now apparently he said this jokingly, but who knows?
At number 7, we have Paul Benowitz. Paul Benowitz was a businessman and UFO enthusiast who became entangled in this conspiracy surrounding Area 51, mostly during the 1980s. Benowitz claimed to have discovered evidence of extraterrestrial activity near the Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico, which he believed was connected to Area 51. He reported witnessing unidentified flying objects and strange phenomena like unusual lights and electronic disturbances. Benowitz became convinced that a secret government program was conducting alien research, leading him to share his findings with various other government agencies, including the Air Force and the Defense Intelligence Agency. His claims caught the attention of a UFO investigator named Bill Moore, who admitted later on that he had got caught up in a disinformation campaign against Benowitz on behalf of the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, and at a 1989 Mutual UFO Network conference, fed him false information about extraterrestrial activities and crashed UFOs, and as a result, Benowitz's mental health deteriorated, and he became increasingly consumed by paranoia, at one point just locking himself in his room. He eventually ended up in a mental hospital where he was under surveillance for a month. He ended up passing away in 2003. Next up, we have the disappearance of Patrick Carnes. On April 13th, 2011, 86-year-old Patrick Carnes was road tripping back to his home in Reno, Nevada, after visiting family in Ohio. At 9 p.m. that night, Patrick was pulled over by a police officer for a minor traffic infraction, went along his way, stopped for gas in Wells, Nevada, and that's his last known location. The next morning, his car was discovered abandoned at an exit off of Interstate 80. Nobody knows what happened to him. Extensive search was launched. Nothing turned up. No leads. Nothing. Carnes' son, as well as authorities, believe foul play was involved. People don't often disappear out of nowhere without something bad having happened, and this incident occurred within a month, where 3 other people had gone missing within the same general area. Next up, we have Nan Dixon. Patrick Carnes isn't the only person to have gone missing along Interstate 80. This Nevada highway has had a number of mysterious disappearances dating all the way back to 1978. There have been hundreds of unexplained deaths and disappearances, but 73-year-old Nan Dixon went missing in 1978. On September 21st, Dixon was driving from California to Seven Troughs, Nevada to see her brother, but she never showed up. She was reported missing and a search was launched, but there was no sign of her or her vehicle. In 1982, her vehicle was discovered in a ravine under the main road of the Seven Troughs turnoff off that highway. The strange part is that this area had previously been searched. Unfortunately, though, there was no other leads as to where she could have been. And so continuing the strange disappearances along the I-80, though, we have Judith Cassida, who went missing in 2006. Cassida, who was 62 at the time, left her home in Reno on February 14th of that year. The last known sighting of her was at a McDonald's in Lovelock, Nevada. After that, she was never seen or heard from again. Only her vehicle was discovered 3 weeks later on the Pumpernickel Valley exit of Interstate 80. The disappearance of Stephen Kocher. In December of 2009, Stephen Kocher, a 30-year-old man from St. George, Utah, embarked on a journey that would ultimately lead to his disappearance. Kocher seemingly vanished without a trace. On December 13th, he was last seen in Henderson, Nevada, where he was spotted on surveillance footage near the Sun City Anthem community. He'd parked his car in a cul-de-sac and made his way in the opposite direction back down the road. He had like a portfolio with him. He was dressed in a white t-shirt. That's really all anyone could see on the footage. Following this sighting, all traces of him disappeared. Only his car was found. Law enforcement agencies launched extensive searches, conducting interviews, scouring the desert landscape, and pursuing leads in hopes of uncovering clues. But despite their efforts, no concrete evidence emerged. His disappearance perplexed both his loved ones and the investigators assigned to the case, and the lack of information surrounding this vanishing has given rise to, of course, numerous theories and speculation. Some think that maybe he experienced a mental health crisis or decided to intentionally go off and start a new life somewhere, while others think it could have been foul play. And at number 2, we have Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar is a rather controversial figure known for his claims about Area 51. In the late 1980s, Lazar came forward with sensational assertions that he had worked in this reverse engineering program with extraterrestrial technology at a site within Area 51 called S4. According to Lazar, he had been recruited to work on advanced propulsion systems of 9 alien spacecrafts held by the US government within aircraft hangars built into a mountainside. Sounds rather familiar to something Jerry Freeman may have witnessed on his trek in the area. Lazar described the technology as being far beyond anything known to human science. Lazar's claims attracted quite a bit of attention, of course. Some thought his claims were incredible, some thought they were incredibly stupid. He presented himself as this whistleblower exposing this classified information. The US government has consistently denied Lazar's assertions and dismissed his credibility. They've maintained that Area 51 is just a classified military facility primarily used for the development and testing of experimental aircrafts, but nonetheless, Lazar's claims have gained a following amongst UFO enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists who see his stories as evidence of some sort of government cover-up going on. But coming in at our number one spot, we have the Area 51 call. This was a call made to a radio show called Coast to Coast AM, hosted by Art Bell, which was a paranormal themed show. You'd have all kinds of people call in, from people with stories about their own paranormal encounters to complete skeptics. The phone calls were never screened, and the show was pretty big, being picked up on hundreds of radio stations across the United States and Canada. On one broadcast in 1997 though, Bell received a frantic phone call from a man claiming to have been a former employee in Area 51. And right from the get-go you can tell this guy is very distressed. His voice is shaky, he sounds incredibly nervous. Now, he could totally be acting, but if he was, he's doing a damn good performance. The stress in his voice sounds genuine. The man begins disclosing information about what he describes as extra-dimensional beings that had begun infiltrating the military and the government. He was trying to get as much information out as possible, claiming, quote, "They'll triangulate on this position really, really soon." The conversation didn't last long before the transmission was completely cut. Till this day, the identity of that man has never been revealed.
Coming into number 10, we have Up Close and Personal with Area 51. In September 2017, YouTube channel UFO Seekers did just that. They sought UFOs. What did they find? Well, you will see. Tim Lee and Tracy Doyle hiked up Tickaboo Peak, a 1.4 mile high mountain 25 miles opposite the military base. The duo used telescopic lenses to get the clearest possible photos of the secret base ever taken from outside by just a civilian. Although you can't see little aliens running around or anything, there are plenty of vehicles to be seen, plus an expansive building and water towers. It isn't too scary, but the video is super interesting, how they got there and everything, and actually it's quite tense. Had they been caught by authorities taking long lens images, then they really could have been in trouble. The video is 18 minutes long, but here is a clip of the YouTubers finding the base. The video has had over 2.4 million views. Perhaps the Kyles are watching it to swat up for their attack planned on the 20th of September. Kyles. Coming in at number 9, we have Even Closer, if you can imagine it. This is one of the closest ever images taken of Area 51. It was taken from a light aircraft and is in the Nevada Aerospace Hall of Fame right now. Here we can see a much closer overview of the whole compound, something that would have been classified just a few years ago. Coming into number 8, we have the airstrip. In 2013, some documents about Area 51 were declassified, although many criticized the response to the Freedom of Information request as having been underwhelming, featuring heavily redacted information. Nonetheless, in 2016, the US did permit Google Earth to photograph the area, which had previously been a no-fly zone. Now you too can view the facility from a bird's eye view. You can check it out and see what's going on, although from very high in the sky. From browsing Google, around 12 miles north of Area 51, there seems to be an unexplained airstrip coming in at around 1 mile long. There is also a visible cluster of buildings at the end of the strip, which is kind of baffling. We've got no idea what's being tested here. According to intel from the website Live Science though, it is thought that the space could be used to test reconnaissance drones.
In our 7th spot, we have the Tic Tac UFO. Last year, another UFO was spotted near Area 51. This one was given the name the Tic Tac UFO because of its tic tac shape and white or bright appearance. So this spacecraft was caught on footage by a person driving along near Area 51. He was driving along the extraterrestrial highway. That's the name given to the highway in Nevada, as a number of UFOs have been seen by drivers while on this route. At first, the driver thought that what he was seeing was just a cloud. When he got closer to it, he realized that it was definitely a craft of some kind. Later on, alien hunter Scott Waring confirmed that the UFO was in fact alien in origin. Also, the area in which he was driving through had a number of wind farms in the area. Turns out that in the past a lot of UFOs have been spotted around wind farms, and one UFO even crashed into a windmill many years back. Some say this is because aliens are fascinated with human technology. In our 6th spot we have Stephen Barron. In 2016, UFO hunter Steve Barron captured video and photographic evidence of another alien spacecraft close to Area 51. These were taken near his home in Las Vegas, Nevada, an hour drive from Area 51. Using a night vision camera, Steve head out to Red Rock Canyon to try and capture a UFO. The first couple of hours, there was nothing. Then he saw mysterious weird flashing lights appear over a mountain. He said this in regards to the UFO and its lights, and I quote, "First one, then two, then more and more. They put on a spectacular show. I am glad I was patient because the show they put on kept getting better and better." We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the CIA spy plane. In 2011, Los Angeles Times journalist Annie Jacobson published a book called Area 51, an uncensored history of America's top secret military base. In the book, she included a number of never-before-seen photos of the base. The first one I want to show you is of a CIA spy plane. This photo shows an A-12 ox cart hidden behind a barrier at Area 51. This was a top-secret plane that was created to reach high speeds and altitudes. During the first 3 years of testing this plane, everything was kept top secret. In fact, the pilots weren't even allowed to tell their wives what they were working on. On May 24, 1963, during a test flight, the plane crashed. The pilot, Ken Collins, was fine but had to eject himself out of the plane. But afterwards, the CIA actually injected him with sodium pentothal, aka truth serum, to then interrogate him after the crash. That's crazy. In our 4th spot, we have the rare photo. So this photo was also featured in Annie Jacobson's book Area 51, an uncensored history of America's top secret military base. In fact, this is a very rare photo that has never been published before. It was published for the first time in Annie's book, and that's it. This photo is an aerial view of Area 51 taken in 1964. I don't know why it was kept a secret for so long or how Annie got her hands on it, but she did and decided to share it with the world. Moving on at number 3, we have the early U-2 spy planes. In the early 1950s, at the peak of the Cold War, the CIA began to develop planes that they wanted to reach an altitude of 70,000 feet to avoid detection against Soviet radar. This gave birth to the U-2 spy planes that you see here in this picture. This photo was taken in Area 51 in 1956, and pictures of workers standing on the plane's wing. Sadly, at least 3 pilots lost their lives during test flights, including 2 at Area 51 and 1 at an Air Force base in Germany. Coming in at number 2, we have Boyd Bushman. Shortly before his death, former Area 51 engineer Boyd Bushman revealed that he encountered aliens while working at Area 51. In a video, Bushman shows a number of mysterious photos to the camera, including one of an alien and a number of photos of the alien's appendages.
We have a total of at least 18 that exist and operate with our facility.
Now, many people believe that this man is telling the truth. Why? Because he had nothing to gain or lose by sharing his story. Plus, an interrogator with the police studied Boyd's movements and speech pattern during this interview, and he said that it appears as if he's telling the truth. In the interview, he said that Area 51 has at least 18 of these aliens in their facility. He also claims that there are 2 groups of aliens. One group are called the Wranglers, the others are called the Rustlers. The aliens that are considered Wranglers are friendly and have a better relationship with humans. Rustlers, however, have been known to steal cattle. This is all insane. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Boyd Bushman and the UFO. During his interview, Boyd Bushman also revealed photos of real UFO spacecrafts that he saw while working at Area 51.
Up close and personal, this is a UFO which is ready to take off.
So that's a close-up photo of a UFO spacecraft taking off. Then he also showed a different photo of a UFO spacecraft with its lights turned off. What do you think though? Is Boy telling the truth?
Number 10. Nighttime operations. On November 15th, 2020, well-known YouTube videographers Tim and Tracy of the UFO Seekers channel took an interesting clip shot from outside the restricted Nevada Test and Training Range, or the NTTR. The new video shows some common NTTR activity, including the camo dude, security personnel, the comings and goings of NTTR employee shuttles, and more interestingly, a lot of air activity over the region, especially at night. The video showed what is most likely a significant nighttime special operations tactical training exercise or capabilities tested at the Nevada Test and Training Range. Most interestingly, the scene appears to be lit by a series of LUU-19BB infrared air-dropped illumination flares for use with night vision devices. The video was 20 minutes long and shows a series of bright lights at low altitude as viewed through their infrared night vision video equipment. Visible in the video are a series of orbiting lights around the brighter descending lights. About specific tests and training activities inside the NTTR don't surface often. The US Air Force published an article on October 24, 2020, saying operations on the Nevada Test and Training Range are continuous. When one operation finishes, another is right behind it, ready to begin. The couple also caught a video of security vehicles and a large bus leaving the gated area distantly adjacent from where the action in their video took place. Now, it's impossible to tell what's actually going on exclusively from the video, but whatever it was big and it looked interesting.
Alright, so this next photo is of Jerry Freeman, taken on a forbidden trip back in 1997. And his head here is supposedly covering the area where the secret S4 hangars are, according to the legendary Bob Lazar. So, this guy had quite the adventure close to the forbidden military base, and according to him, he was actually within the restricted area at points, but the exact borders of Area 51 aren't really shared with the public. So, what's the story with this guy? Jerry Freeman, an archaeologist, decided in 1997 that he was going to embark on a 7-day trek into the highly restricted Nevada test site. The funny thing is about this case though, is that he really had no interest in what most of us would want to see behind the Area 51 curtain. He was just interested in tracing back the trail of the lost 49ers, pioneers who had traversed the area in 1849. He was in search of an inscription made by one of the pioneers, which was believed to be in Nye Canyon above Papoose Lake on the Nellis Air Force Base, totally off limits. Freeman spent days avoiding security. He slept with nothing but a blanket and the clothes on his back. He traveled very light, too light. He was running out of water by the end. And the funny thing is that after this dangerous trek, people were asking him like, so did you see Area 51? What's in there? Where are the UFOs, man? And again, just had no interest in that side of it. So he was like, I think at one point I might have seen Area 51. He'd like climbed on a ridge above Nye Canyon looking down on Papoose Dry Lake, which is just south of Area 51. And he was like, yeah, during the day I didn't see much, but one night I saw some lights. One looked like it was coming from a security vehicle. One was kind of stationary, but it seemed to grow and like shrink in size. Could have been a hangar door opening and closing. I don't know, it's an interesting kind of case.
Number 8. Codename Hood. A book by Los Angeles Times journalist Annie Jacobson, Area 51, an uncensored history of America's top secret military base, Little Brown, tells the story of the famous site that has spurred tales and rumors of intrigue and cover-ups. Annie dove through thousands of recently declassified documents to reveal what happened in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s at the government-restricted area near Groom Lake, Nevada. In the book there were some photos, and for this one, Annie said, the black device attached to this balloon in Area 9 of the Nevada test site is a 74 kiloton atomic bomb codenamed Hood, the largest atmospheric nuclear weapon ever exploded in the United States. Standing on a ladder minutes before this photograph was taken on July 5th, 1957, Al O'Donnell put the final touches on the bomb firing system. Area 51 is over the hill to the right of the device, and on the next page and photo and row a column of radioactive smoke rises from the Hood bomb. To the right of the mushroom stem, the landscape can be seen on fire. Approximately 1 hour after the bomb went off, security guard Richard Migas drove through Ground Zero to set up a guard post at the Area 51 guard gate directly over the burning hills.
Coming into number 7, we have the Paradise trailers. Area 51 used to be colloquially known as Paradise Ranch in order to make it sound more appealing to families of workers. I suppose it's a lot to ask a person to relocate to the middle of the desert, so why not rebrand the place Paradise and make it sound more appealing? An image has been released of the Paradise era showing a number of trailers at the facility. Is this where families lived, or was it home to aliens? It's kinda cool seeing how things used to be in its heyday, assuming its heyday's over. We just don't know. Alright, coming into number 6, this is the big one. It is the alien autopsy. The alien autopsy was reportedly shot in Area 51 and depicts the aliens that were transported to the facility from Roswell after the 1947 crash. The crash was said to have been of a flying disc UFO and was said to have contained wounded aliens. The video was released in 1995 by Ray Santilli, who said that the footage had been supplied to him by a former military camera technician who wanted to remain anonymous, obviously. Let's have a little look at the footage, shall we? I mean, that is a dead alien right there, right? But like, is it? The footage absolutely blew up in 1995, but people were quick to call it a fraud. In the end, Santilli claimed that yeah, only part of the footage was real. He said that only a few frames from the original footage were there, but they were there. He also said the rest had been replicated and was a reconstruction of footage he had but was damaged. Sounds likely. Coming into number 5, we have the Roswell rescue. Footage claiming to be from the Roswell fallout surfaced on the internet in 2015 and alleges to show agents holding alien corpses and taking them on a stretcher. Have a little look. I don't know, it kind of looks a bit sketchy, right? Can we get another look? I guess it was 1947, so we can't expect too much film-wise, but I'm not sure this is quite the smoking gun we were looking for. The video has had around 160,000 views on YouTube, but the like to dislike ratio suggests that some people may not be too convinced as to its authenticity. One of my favourite comments on the video comes from Mr. Saturday Night Special, who wrote, "This has to be real. Everyone knows when you travel across the universe, you don't wear clothes. Just ask Chewbacca. He'll tell you." You're right! You know what? Are we the only species that like to cover our modesty? All of these aliens crashing, like, where are their little alien suits? Come on. Coming into number 4, we have Kodak confirms, allegedly anyway. In 2014, a UFO expert, Tom Carey, was sent images from a woman who wished to remain anonymous, but claimed that she had worked with the Secret Service. The image was reportedly taken at Area 51 following the Roswell crash and seems to show a bug-like alien. Let's have a look, shall we? The image seems to support what a number of people who used to work at the Area 51 have said about the facility, including Robert Lazar and staff members from the esteemed Lockheed Martin firm. But like, seriously, come on, is this an actual image of an alien? Can we trust anything in the age of Photoshop? It seems that Carey thought of that and sent the image to Kodak themselves, who were able to confirm that it was taken in 1947. Again, allegedly. If they sent him a letter saying this, then I haven't seen it. When speaking to the press, Carey said, "What's interesting is that the film is dated in 1947. We took it to the official historian of Kodak up in Rochester, New York, and he did his due diligence on it, and he said that yes, this film strip and the slides are from 1947. It's 1947 stock. From the emulsion on the image, it's not something like's been photoshopped today. If Kodak did call this authentic, I haven't seen any certification." Coming into number 3, we have another alien, of course. In 2012, Chicago videographer Adam Dew received a call from his former business partner Joseph Beeson. He claimed that he had something to show him, and boy did he. Beeson had a private disposal unit sister, and she'd come across a box of photographs that seemed to have been taken by someone close to President Eisenhower. He was in a number of the images himself, as were Bing Crosby and Clark Gable. 2 of the images she had been tasked with disposing were absolutely outrageous. Get a load of them for yourself. That's right, it is a small withered brown body of an alien in a glass case. And this was all among the images of the president, which is pretty crazy. The images were found in the garage of a woman named Hilda Blair Ray near Sedona in Arizona. Now the pair did believe that the images were linked to Area 51 and Roswell. They sent the images to none other than Tom Carey. Tom once again believed that the images looked just like what witnesses had described in the Roswell crash. Let's have another look, shall we? It really does kind of look like an alien wrapped in some kind of cloth, but unfortunately for Tom Carey, the image turned out to be of a mummified corpse of an Aztec child and not a secret leak from Area 51. Our final 2, I have to say, are pretty convincing. It's not alien stuff, but I do think that these are secret pictures from Area 51. Coming into number 2, we have the strange plane. Here's an image of something that looks like a strange aircraft, or something reportedly taken at Area 51 anyway. It is known that the United States Air Force is present at the facility, and several spy planes have been developed there, including the U-2 spy plane and the SR-71 Blackbird, and possibly others like the rumored Aurora project. So, what is the plane in this image? I don't actually know. Could it be one of the alien aircraft that allegedly whistleblower Bob Lazar talked about reverse engineering? Or is it another spy plane? Finally, coming into number 1, we have an image of a secret plane crash covered up. It seems an A-12 spy plane, possibly the one pictured above, crashed in 1963 after taking off from the secret airbase. The crash happened in Wendover, Utah when Area 51 pilot Ken Colmer was testing the plane's subsonic engines at low altitude. The pilot ejected from the plane crash, after which he was subjected to hypnosis and doping to make sure that he relayed the incident and how it occurred honestly and truthfully. Here are the previously classified images of the crash. Now, as you can see, vehicles raced to recover the wreckage, which was extremely sensitive to the United States Air Force. It seems a government sanitation team was deployed to remove all traces of the spy plane. To me, that sounds very, very strange. So too does it that they kept the images of this plane crash a secret for such a long time. Do you think it really was a spy plane that crashed, or, given the response, something much more sensitive?
Starting us off at number 10, we have the U-2 spy planes. I know, we just want to get to the alien stuff, but in order to get there, we need to go through the weird human stuff first. So, Area 51 is commonly a place of suspicion, with many thinking that there is proof of aliens and alien tech that lives there. But, once the top secret area was finally recognized in 2013, it was released to the public that it is actually a top secret US Air Force base, where they test tons of new and not yet released aircrafts. One of those aircrafts being the U-2 spy plane. The U-2 spy plane was first created to keep an eye on the Soviet Union, as the US was worried about a nuclear threat. This plane is known to fly higher than 70,000 feet with a top speed of 805 miles per hour. The idea was that if this plane could soar so high up and at top speeds, it would be less noticeable than other spy planes at the time. It also didn't need to refuel until after 3,000 miles or so. Flight tests began at Area 51 on August 1st, 1955, after a short 8 months of construction. The project was known as Project Aquatone. Sounds like a skin treatment. The defense contractor Lockheed Martin built the first plane on a $22 million budget, which is about $207 million today. Even though this plane was crazy expensive, one was actually shot down over Soviet airspace in 1960. Both the pilot and the planes were retrieved, but forced the US to admit that they were spying. So, what happened next? Well, the SR-71 Blackbird. That's right, coming in at our number 9 spot, we have the SR-71 Blackbird, the plane that was to make up for the US Air Force's previous failure. Pressure was on the Lockheed Martin team after the U-2 was shot down. They were to create an entire new plane that could not be shot down and fully operational in 20 months. In case you don't know this, that is an extremely difficult task. The Blackbird finally began testing on December 22nd, 1964, and it featured tons of new tech. Aircraft designer Kelly Johnson said everything had to be invented. Everything. It was known to many as the perfect spy plane. It could fly up to 80,000 feet high and also had a top speed of 2,100 miles per hour. That's a frickin' huge jump from the U-2. Many at the time believed that the remains of the Roswell crash in 1947 were actually being kept at Area 51, and don't worry, settle down, I'll get there. But because this was during the Cold War, the CIA actually encouraged the myth that aliens were flying around Area 51 so that the Soviets wouldn't know about their newest weaponized toy. But of course, that wasn't the last of their super cool high-tech insect toys. At number 8, we have the A-12 Oxcart. This was another plane that was in development at the same time as the Blackbird and was in the running to be the new recon spy plane, but the Blackbird won on that one. The other difference was that the A-12 Oxcart had a crew of 1 and it was operated by the CIA and not the US Air Force, who could fit a crew of 2 in the Blackbird. Later testing proved that the CIA Air Force didn't want to go through the development of this aircraft, so the A-12 slowly morphed into the Blackbird, and even the later plane known as the Interceptor YF-12. The Oxcart, however, was smaller than the Blackbird and faster and could reach higher altitudes, but it was still not the winner in this scenario. It could reach heights of up to 90,000 feet and a top speed of 2,208 miles per hour. These craft only operated from 1967 to 68, which is no wonder why most people forget about this one. Or maybe we were forced to forget about it. It's a conspiracy, man.
Next up, we have the Boyd Bushman photos. So Boyd Bushman is no longer with us, but he took with him to his grave many tales of the extraterrestrial friends he met as a Lockheed Martin engineer working within Area 51. At least that's what he claimed. In 2007, Bushman was filmed in a video talking with independent aerospace engineer Mark Q. Patterson about his experiences in the restricted area, claiming to have met several aliens, some of whom were hundreds of years old apparently and hailed from planet Quintumnia. Even said some of these Quintumians were employees of Area 51. Held up a bunch of photographs. The video became relatively big, but I gotta say, call me crazy, these pictures look not great. That alien looks like it's from Spirit Halloween. Nothing against Spirit Halloween. I go every Halloween, but not the most convincing. I think Boyd knew he was on the outs. He died not long after this interview, and I think he wanted to go with a little bit of a prank. Can't blame him. In fact, I respect him for it.
Number 6. Gabe Zeffman. Gabe Zeffman, a private pilot and amateur photographer, spent Christmas Day 2020 flying his Cessna 150 plane over Area 51 and snapping just over 1,000 photos. He captured stunning visuals of the Nevada Test and Training Range and Area 51, showing a mysterious triangle shape inside an open hangar. The hangar is just south of the main NTTR complex at Area 51, and the object looks large, although it is unclear. It does appear to be the only hangar that's open as well. In the videos of his flights posted on YouTube, Gabe can be heard getting clearance for his route over the restricted area. Now for this particular flight, he had higher quality photography gear that allowed him to capture better photos. So what's in the hangar? Seems like we may never know.
Number 5, the alien interview. So there's actually footage of this one, so yeah, not really photos, but I mean, isn't video better than a silly old still photograph anyway? This footage was shown in a 1997 documentary entitled Area 51, The Alien Interview, and the big selling point here was that you were going to see real footage of Area 51 employees in the S4 facility communicating with an extraterrestrial on camera. The man behind the film, simply known as Victor, narrates through the footage, claiming to be former Area 51 employee and whistleblower who copied the footage, which was taken in 1989 before setting out to share it with the world. So you don't hear what was actually being said in the video. There's no sound other than the mysterious Victor relaying the information over the footage, but you do see what looks to be your classic gray alien moving around and opening and closing its mouth. I mean, if it was just a puppet, there was definitely some effort put in here, and by that I just mean they tried to make it look like it was moving.
Number 4. Closest photos of the base ever. In 2017, Tim and Tracy of the UFO Seekers, who was mentioned before, hiked up the 1.4 mile high Tikaboo Peak, a mountain 25 miles opposite the mysterious military base, in order to capture the closest ever pictures of Area 51. From the peak of this mountain, the duo of UFO hunters used a special telescopic lenses to get the clearest photographs of the buildings and vehicles inside the top secret government site. The Area 51 pictures taken show what looks like a water tower, several complexes, and vehicles moving around.
Next up, we have the UFO. In December of 2019, Nevada resident Steve Barron shared pictures and video of this mysterious object flying over a mountain range close to his home. So whatever the object is, looks big. It's far off in the distance, but it's very noticeable and very bright. Definitely doesn't look like the small specks you get in the sky with satellites. It's super bright again, and it moves in a strange pattern too. It doesn't move at one consistent speed or in one single direction. There's a point where it kind of looks like it could be a satellite. It's moving through the sky in more of a traditional pattern, just straight across. But then it stops, starts moving back in the direction it was coming from, and seems to clip along at a good speed too. Like whatever this thing is, it's fast. So I don't know. Could be a drone, I suppose, but you be the judge.
Number 2. The aircraft. A passing commercial satellite seemed to have snapped its top secret next generation combat aircraft on the tarmac of Area 51. Tyler Rogaway of the War Zone was reviewing Planet Labs satellite photos of the high profile secret site when he spotted something outside the ordinary. The highly classified United States Air Force Nevada testing facility is usually especially careful. Air operations are timed out during the gaps between Earth observation and surveillance satellite overpasses. But in this photo, on the taxiway leading through a massive new hangar was a strange shadow. It appears to be a translucent tent. Inside is the outline of what appears to be an unknown type of fighter aircraft. Area 51 is always a popular spot when it comes to publicly available satellite imagery, Tyler wrote. When glancing at daily 3-meter resolution images of the base, we noticed the appearance of a roughly delta-shaped blob on the north apron of the large southern hangar. It stayed there between January 26 and 29th, 2022. So what was it? Why did they make this mistake? I don't know.
Next up, we have the Area 51 entrance. So a few years back, satellite photos were shared online showing what looked to be a possible entrance to the ever-elusive wonder that is Area 51. Someone was cruising around on Google Earth and spotted a road leading to a parking lot by the foothills of a mountain. Now, whatever this road leading to this parking lot was actually built for, it wasn't there back in 1998, where satellite images of the same area showed there to be no road leading to this dead-end area with the parking lot. So what's going on? It is pretty strange. Why have all these roads been built leading to a parking lots in seemingly dead-end areas by the side of a mountain? There's nothing there. It's not like, they'd park there and then walk all the way back down the road to go somewhere else. No, it seems as if there's a secret tunnel that's been carved into the side of the mountain. I think Bob Lazar said something about some mountain facility in Area 51. As for what's going on in there, your guess is as good as mine.